And for me, I can't say that I'm surprised because we've seen how Manchester United has been run for so long right now. And I'd have to say with Ruben Amorim, the honeymoon period is over.
And things just keep going from bad to worse and even a little bit weird here, as the big news today is that sporting director Dan Ashworth has left his role after just 5 months. This was confirmed by the club, and in the statement here it says that it was by mutual agreement. Dan Ashworth joined Manchester United, again, just 5 months ago from Newcastle, and already, boop, see you later, he's out of his role. Mike Lahoud, you're the resident Manchester United fan at the desk. What was your reaction to Dan Ashworth's departure?
Well, I was until the final whistle. Now I'm a Marseille fan, as he knows. No, this was something that was a bit of an eyebrow raiser, but when you take the hood back and you peel back what's happened in the last, say, 6 months, there was always going to be a fall guy for what happened in the summer with Erik Ten Hag. And I was curious who that person would be, and it makes me wonder, Nige, if that was Dan Ashworth. That's my inkling, that Dan Ashworth may have been the person that said, you know what, let's back Ten Hag, let's give him the pieces he wants. And this fractured relationship between him and Jim Ratcliffe, it's been reported in the last couple of weeks that Ratcliffe has not been happy with Ashworth.
Yeah. But why now is my question. If Erik Ten Hag was fired over a month ago and you had an interim before Ruben Amorim stepped in, why now is Ashworth leaving?
It's Manchester United. You can't be surprised by it right now. You know, the clown show that happened in Old Trafford right now continues to roll on. It's a big surprise to a lot of people because, again, we asked the question of why keep Erik Ten Hag when the writing was on the wall for him, when you knew he was eventually going to be fired. So my question is, why go out of your way to pay compensation for Dan Ashworth from Newcastle to bring him in, and then now all of a sudden, 5 months into it, he leaves Manchester United? I agree with Michael Lahoud. I felt that he's become the fall guy. Maybe it's because of Ten Hag staying in the current situation. I also believe there's a bit of a power dynamic above Dan Ashworth in certain ideas of what managers should come in and the situation at the club. But for me, it's comical. And so Jim Ratcliffe doesn't help himself as well, because he's recently come out to raise ticket prices and say that there's no way that Fulham Football Club should have more expensive tickets than Manchester United. Please tell me how out of touch you are with the football club and the fan base that you're supposed to be providing a service for. Would you pay 66 quid to let your kid go and watch Manchester United right now, what you're seeing from them, when there's way more exciting teams playing football? I wouldn't.
Not if I wanted my kids to start
I wouldn't.
Their eyes
so I think it's
give them some nightmares.
One of us would.
It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And for me, I can't say that I'm surprised because we've seen how Manchester United has been run for so long right now. And I'd have to say with Ruben Amorim, the honeymoon period is over, because the performances are not getting better.
And Nige, you mentioned he's the type of manager that right now is trying to implement his system right now, right? And so there's going to be hiccups in the middle of the season. And so for me, it's like, you know, it's crazy right now over at Manchester United. And I almost wonder, like, how much time is he going to have at the helm? Are they going to give him that 2 or 3 years, or are they going to be on a short leash?
I think right now, and I have question marks over some of the personnel choices, one of them being Marcus Rashford. He scores a brace. He looks more like himself. He looks more like he gives a damn again. And you leave him on the bench in back-to-back matches where he gets a brace. We've talked about how hard it's been for Marcus Rashford to get goals. So I question those decisions of how committed are you to winning football matches, to bringing that winning mentality back to the club, or how committed are you to just implementing your philosophy? Right now, it seems like Ruben Amorim is more concerned about his philosophy, the back three, than winning football matches. And I said this before last week on Morning Footy, that this United side, the players that are playing, they're playing their last days at this club. In the next 6 months, per se, a lot of these players will not be part of this project moving forward. Week in and week out, they're proving that.
So it's a long-term project.
Well,
yeah.
Let's not forget that when Ruud van Nistelrooy was the interim, it was a small sample size of matches, but he was unbeaten, Nigel.
Unbeaten in very favourable fixtures. I'll give that.
Yeah. So you don't feel like there's any concern over the appointment of
I think Michael makes a great point in you're going to a club of Manchester United who have lost their identity since Alex Ferguson left, and probably the second place that Jose Mourinho finished was an absolute miracle, and he's right in what he says now when you look back at it. Now you've got a manager who wants to come in and implement his philosophy. You're going to a group of players not with the same hunger and desire as you're used to at Sporting, who still want to get to the top and the highest level, with no disrespect to Sporting, as big a club as they are. And you're going to this dressing room where they haven't had an identity for so long. And all of a sudden, halfway through the season, you want to implement this identity of a football club where you're not going to be given that time. The honeymoon period is over. The reality of it is they don't have the players to play that system. He's trying his hardest. He's making changes. We've seen Lenny Yoro come on. Make changes at centre-back with Harry Maguire coming on, trying to get them to understand the system. Yesterday's team, starting lineup, is the strongest lineup that I feel he's got available players. Take away Luke Shaw not playing. That is the strongest lineup to play that system that he wants. And it didn't work against the Nottingham Forest side, who are a lot more hungry, a lot more dogged, have players to play an aggressive style of football. And I feel, for me, it goes back to the same question we keep saying. The recruiting at Manchester United for so many years has been the biggest problem at that club, alongside ownership with no direction in what they want to do.
Mic drop. Well said, Nige. It is a disaster.
I want him to say something back. Come on, resident.
No, man. I got a good night's sleep. I was going to clap back at you if we have this conversation, but I got to be real.
That's real.
It's the players, and we've talked about this just in the last couple minutes. The players just aren't good enough.
And for me, like watching a lot of Premier League games, I understand that these teams try and play this back three and this and that. In the Premier League, you're going to get found out. You will get found out, and teams will hurt you. It's a different animal, and I think that is what Ruben Amorim is starting to see now and understand about the Premier League. It's great coming to Manchester United. Great expectation, amazing football club. Probably, well, this is the biggest club he's going to manage. But to try and implement a system with players who've never had real kind of a system or style or philosophy for so many years, I think it's naive. For me, the best managers I've seen in world football are willing to adapt. At the moment, I would say adapt, learn about your players, get results going, get confident. Then you can have your pre-season to start implementing a whole new system and style, but not halfway through the season.
There are a lot of things that Ruben Amorim needs to figure out with Manchester United side at the moment, as they are sliding down the table, not even in the top half at the moment at this point in the season.